If you watch this all the way through, you will understand why some people can handle any crisis except their own emotions. While millions of children spent their early years learning to play and make mistakes, there's some massive group who spent those years learning that survival depended on holding everyone else together. And according to neuroscience, that's not just a painful memory. Your nervous system might still be operating on emergency protocols written into your brain before you turned 10. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you will explain why you can save everyone except yourself. Let's go back to something that defined countless American childhoods but rarely gets named. You're 7 years old, and you can feel the air change. Maybe a parent is struggling with addiction. Maybe a silent rage filling every room. Maybe it's just hollow exhaustion of someone too broken to show up, and something clicks without words. If I don't manage this, everything falls apart. This is how a child disappears, not physically, but psychologically. You smile more to keep peace. You cry less to avoid burdening anyone. You learn to read a room before you can read a chapter book. The world calls you mature, responsible, strong, but no one asks what it costs. Fast forward to now, and you're an adult who can handle everyone's crisis but panics when someone asks if you're okay. Here's what's actually happening in your brain when you're forced to become the adult while you're still a child. Neuroscientists studying developmental trauma discovered premature neural pruning. Imagine your brain as a tree that is supposed to grow wild for 18 years. But when survival demands it, your brain cuts away branches meant for play, exploration, needing others. What grows instead is hypervigilance. You develop threat scanning years before it's supposed to exist. You're always reading faces for danger. A Harvard study found that children who experience parentification show altered amygdala reactivity into adulthood. Your brain learned that love is a transaction. You give peace, maybe you get safety. Your needs are dangerous, and theirs are survival. So you rewire completely. Now here's where it gets devastating. Your brain becomes addicted to this role. Every time you manage someone's emotions or prevent chaos, your brain releases dopamine and cortisol together. Reward mixed with stress. You feel needed, which your nervous system translates as safe. Research from Yale shows parentified children have difficulty regulating stress, even in safe environments. Your body learns stillness means danger is coming. That peace is the moment before everything explodes. That joy is a luxury you will pay for later. This is why you feel guilty resting. Why productivity is the only time you feel worthy. Why happy moments feel dangerous. Your nervous system accepts chaos as baseline. Let me introduce you to identity foreclosure through role rigidity. When a child is forced into the caregiver role, their identity gets assigned, not developed. You become the responsible one, the mature one, the one who holds everything together. That role gets so praised you never question whether it's actually you or just survival costume. But that costume doesn't come off. Even decades later, even when you're safe, you can find the zipper. Because underneath is a child you buried who is still asking why no one protected them. That wound doesn't heal just because you got older. It follows you into every relationship, every moment someone tries to care, and you flinch. Here's something contradictory that explains your adult life. Children who grow up too fast develop exceptional emotional intelligence for others, but almost none for themselves. They can walk into a room and sense everyone's mood instantly, predict what someone needs before they ask. But when someone asks how they're feeling, they freeze. This is outward emotional fluency. Your nervous system allocated all resources to reading external threats because that's where survival lived. Noticing your own pain, needs limits, those were luxuries that could hurt you. So you became the therapist friend, the one everyone relies on, the person who never asks for anything. You wear that identity so convincingly, even you forget its armor. But underneath, something aches, because the child you abandoned is still in there. And let's be honest about something nobody wants to face. Maybe your parentification had a specific origin. Maybe you watched a parent fall apart and decided to hold the pieces. Maybe you saw a sibling terrified and became their shield. Maybe you walked into the kitchen at 8, and started making dinner because no one else would. Your hyper-responsibility might have started as love or terror. Both can be true, but knowing which matters. Because one is choice and the other is survival response pretending to be personality. If you became the caregiver because you believed usefulness was the only reason people would keep you, that's trauma. The difference determines whether you're reliving from authenticity or fear. Here's why some people can understand. People who had safe childhoods learn that needs get met by existing. They cry, someone comforts. They fail. Someone reassures. They just are, and that's enough. But you learned different. You learned existing isn't enough. That love is earned through service. That your value is measured by weight you can carry for others. So now receiving feels impossible. Someone tries to help and it triggers panic. Someone shows up and you wait for the bill. Because in your nervous system, care always came with conditions. Let's talk about a culture obsessed with strength and independence. American society rewards people who grew up too fast. We were productive, self-sufficient, low maintenance. We get things done, but nobody asks what it cost us. Nobody counts the childhood we lost, the softness we buried, the needs we silenced. Not growing up too fast means opting out of the role everyone needs you to play. It means admitting exhaustion, asking for help in a world that calls dependency weakness. But what if you not failing by choosing rest? What if you opting out of a system that exploited your capacity to disappear? What if being seen over being strong is just as valid? But here's the line you need to see. There's a difference between being naturally giving and compulsively overfunctioning because you're terrified of stopping. If you help because it aligns with your values, that's generosity. If you help because the thought of someone upset triggers panic, that's trauma. One is choice. The other is a cage you forgot had a door. If your entire worth depends on never needing anything, never breaking down, never admitting you're drowning, maybe the issue isn't that you grew up too fast. Maybe you're still that 7-year-old believing usefulness is the price of being kept. The next time someone asks why you're so independent, why you never need support, why you always have control, remember this. You're not naturally strong. You're someone who learned at 7 that needing anything was dangerous. That asking for help meant burdening people who might leave. You became an adult before your brain was ready, because the alternative was losing the only attachment you had. You're replaying a different game, one where vulnerability equals failure, one where exhaustion equals proof you matter. And if that's lonely, it's because most people haven't learned there are other ways to earn love besides erasing yourself. If this hit home, you need to understand why people who seem emotionally distant carry the heaviest wounds. Avoidant attachment is where this gets more complex. Psychology Unpacked. See you in the next Unpacked.